Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. How are you? And welcome to the program. My name is Naman, and I'm with the Innovation Dance. Welcome to the program.
And welcome to me.
Hello.
Bashir, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
Very good, very good. And we have Hamad here. Hamad, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Welcome back, my friend. And today I'm seeing Shehzada Ghazanfar. Welcome to the program. How are you today?
Thank you. I am very good. Thanks for asking. How are you, sir?
Very good, very good. And then we have another gentleman with us today, Sahir Nawaz. Sahir Nawaz, how are you today?
I know Sahar from my work. She is a fantastic QA, but I think she is connecting with her audio.
Hi,
Sahar,
I'm good.
are you there? Yeah.
Yes, I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Thank you.
So, okay, all right. So, we're starting a new program series today, which is creative thinking and innovation. But we have done 4 programs on the mindset series, and we started with the Z2A mindset. Then we did Journey to Excellence. We talked about the 5 steps of achieving excellence. And then we did Audacity to Dream Big. And then after that, we did Relentless Pursuit of Excellence. So these 4 programs, there's a lot of good feedback came, and these programs were designed to work on harnessing the mindset. And now we're starting the creativity program. So Mubashir, let me ask you this. What is the connection between the mindset and creativity and this whole idea of creativity and innovation?
I think it's really important because if you have someone, let's put it this way, if you hire someone who is really, really smart, very creative, but doesn't complete the job, doesn't finish it, doesn't deliver, then all that creativity is to no avail. And if you hire someone who is finishing the job, but is not really very smart and is always requiring direction or sometimes messing up things, then that's not good either. So best combination possibly is to have really smart people, really creative people, really innovative people who also have the ability to, and the mental mindset, the transformation to deliver on that creativity. So creativity is central, and around that central is the orbital elements of pursuit of excellence. And when these are combined, they create really world-class productivity, performance, innovation, quite often big, sizable companies as well.
Right. Okay, so with this, let me share my screen here. We start to talk about today's agenda. So we're launching today this 4-part series on creative thinking. And today we're doing barriers to creativity. And then we have the next programs are enhancing creativity, creative thinking process, and creative thinking techniques. So these are part of this CREATE program, which is comprised, we'll tell you more about this CREATE program. So we have about 20 different modules in this program to develop and to implement a creativity and innovation program in a company within you. But this, I want to maybe take a look at this slide here, and I want to ask you guys that what do you see in this slide? What is common in these 10 companies? Anyone?
Technology.
Technology, yes, yes.
Country.
They're all tech
Country,
companies
they're all tech companies,
with
yeah, yeah.
innovation. Yeah, primarily.
Innovation, yeah.
Yeah.
Mubashir, what do you see in these 10 companies?
I think one of the
Common thread.
participants mentioned it, that they are probably well known for innovation and creativity aspect. These are the companies that you would give examples of when it comes to really best practices on how to innovate and move forward and create world-beating, really world-changing sort of solutions from different industry sectors.
Right. So one thing that I see in these companies is this is the list of 2020 most innovative companies in the world. And there's a list of like 50 companies, but this is the first top 10 companies in that list. So all these companies are doing really well in this market, okay? While some companies are not doing as well. So the market performance, the profitability of the company, the growth of the company, right now, if you see, are connected to this innovation, creativity, okay? So so these are the top 10 companies where they are performing really well. So let me ask, so let's talk about this program, but let me ask Mubashir, what do you see in the S&P, some of the statistic that we are sharing, what is happening in the market right now? Mubashir, you're mute.
Sorry, yes. I was just saying that from the past few decades, it's becoming quite apparent that the pace of change is incredibly fast. It's becoming faster and faster. No longer it's okay to have done one or two fantastic products and sit on your laurels or sit, not doing anything else with it. And this speed, this pace of change is requiring companies, individuals, organizations, teams, small and big, everybody to move forward really, really rapidly. And I think that's probably reflected in the statistics as well.
The market is changing so fast. So on S&P, the company used to stay 60 years in 1960s, 60 years. Now the average life or average stay of a company on S&P, so S&P is a very, like S&P adds companies who are very distinguished or companies who are the best of the best companies. So now it's only companies can stay for about 18 years, and there are certain parameters for companies to stay on S&P. So this is what is happening, and the whole idea behind a company to stay relevant is innovation. This market is an innovation driven market, and creativity is all about innovation. And that's why I wanted to maybe share these thoughts with you, that why creativity is so important and why creativity is one of the top skills in demand globally, is one of the top skills in demand globally. And this is a learnable skill. Now, what you're seeing is the repetitive jobs or the process driven jobs are getting automated. So we're seeing every single day, when used to go to McDonald's, there used to be cashiers. Now those jobs are being automated, okay? Because that does not require creativity. That does not require making decisions. And for this reason, those jobs that does not require decision making or they're not repetitive, those jobs are getting automated. And people and companies who are thinking and developing innovative and novelty, those are the companies and people they're excelling. And this is why this idea of creativity also is so relevant. Okay. Um, any thoughts on this topic from our audience or the people who are listening?
I agree with this because today you see a lot of companies that we saw in our youth, they're all finished. Say, for example, Kodak and everything. They used to make a lot of film rolls and everything. Now that it's digital, you don't hear about Kodak. So because they didn't do the innovations and everything, now they're gone.
Right. So it's about how do you think different? How do you become more creative? And this is what we're going to talk about in this program. Um,
In the previous slide, just the last line there was very interesting. If you give me 1 second, because it's all about rewiring our brains. And it's interestingly true, because when you are thinking in a different way, there are new neural pathways that are made in the brain. These pathways connect and create new paths in the brain cells. So in a way, it's actually quite literally true as well, that when we are thinking innovatively, when we are thinking creatively and consciously trying to be creative, we are rewiring our brains. The purpose of this program is to facilitate this whole process in a safe environment. Practice this. It's like a muscle. The more we practice it, the better and stronger it becomes. And it's like the mindset and approach and the confidence that we get, that yes, if we want to, we can think more and more creatively, because it's a trainable skill, it's a transferable skill, it's a skill that a lot of people are already using without knowing it. And by doing this boot camp and the program, it would become more and more apparent how we can access it more at demand.
right, right. So tell us about this program and what are the outcomes of this program, Mubashir?
Basically, the essence of the program is learning by doing, rather than having a lecture or a PowerPoint. The program, and many times that it has been run, it is a very practical, very interactive program, hence the word boot camp about it. So we would have usually 60-70% of the time participants on their feet or engaging, and now with the digital mediums, basically there is a lot of interaction. There are exercises in each session that participants engage in, and they are fun-filled. One of the things that I have always been amazed at is the amount of laughter in the room, the amount of enjoyment and fun that people are having. And that's the key essence of creativity. If you look at all the research that's been done, and also practical examples of the people who are supposed to be very, very creative, they are having what's known as the play at work initiative. And when they are enjoying, when the brain is relaxed and it's let go to have with confidence things that it can try out, that's where a lot of creativity naturally happens as well. So basically the objective of this program is to have 60-70% interactive exercises and a little bit of a theoretical framework around it, so people also know why these things work and what's the kind of key learning points from these exercises are, and enabling people to try in a fun-filled environment, exercising their creative muscle. And the outcomes are feeling more confident, feeling more comfortable, rewiring our brains, and pushing the boundaries of our comfort zone, therefore using more and more creativity in our daily lives, in our work life, and anytime we face a problem, resolving those problems in many different ways.
Now that is the whole idea. So in this program, there are four distinct parts of the program. The first part is how do you become creative and innovative? So there are 8 sessions or 8 modules. in this first section is about how do you become creative and innovative. And today, what we are doing is we're gonna go deeper into these barriers to creativity. Why people don't become creative? Okay, what are the barriers? And this is the first program, and then we're gonna talk about enhancing creativity, how to think creatively, and becoming more creative in this series, first series. Then another great idea, or the second module of this program, is how do you get your ideas across, which is very important, fundamental, because once you have good ideas, and a lot of companies, a lot of people have good ideas, but how they connect those ideas, how they get their ideas across, is second module. And the third one is getting those ideas accepted, how people, companies accept their ideas. And then the last one is about the transformation roadmap. How do you pull it all together? And how do you start an aspiration? How do you start a transformation around innovation and around creativity? Any thoughts on this, Mubashir, from your side?
I think it's actually, as I said earlier, designed carefully in order to cover the key and important aspects of creativity. So first part is thinking creatively, but it's no good unless you can communicate those creative ideas to others. So second area is how do we effectively communicate these ideas to other colleagues, to the management, to the leadership, how to sell the vision. And that's a very important element of any entrepreneurial, creative leadership component in any organization or in a person's life. And the third part is how to get those ideas accepted, which is linked to the first two, getting the ideas across. But also you will study some of the techniques to influence positively and to persuade people to achieve the end results. And the final part, as you have mentioned, it's useful, but one person does not and cannot make the whole thing or change the whole world. It takes a team. And in order to make sure that the team is working together, you have to have a transformation in the team, in the company, in the organization, in the culture. Creativity and innovation is not a single one-time task. It's a habit, it's a process, it's a procedure, it's a culture, it's a behavior, how day in, day out, how it's manifesting, how people think about it. And most importantly, how people do it when they are not even thinking about it, how to be creative. If that's the mindset that we are after, then it has to be in such a way that people are going about their daily routine and they find that it's in a different way of engaging with the problems that they face.
Right. Okay. So we have a few good questions from Niaz. I think we'll take those questions in a minute. So the whole idea is to stretch our imagination, get out of the comfort zone, rewire our brains. That's the whole idea. So let's get into this first one. Mubashir, lead us in this, the first exercise.
Okay, so let's get started with the first exercise. This exercise is gobbledygook. Basically, what you are supposed to do is come up with a word. Noman, if you go to the next slide, please. Coin a gibberish word, something that does not exist in dictionary. Explain it and sell it. Explain why it's such a good idea, etc. And then finish your conversation, your selling pitch with another gibberish word. The next person, pass it on to the next person, and the next person then explains it, what it means, what it does, why it's such a great or brilliant idea, and finishes on his own or her own gibberish word and pass it on to the next person. So this process is repeated as on. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to start with saying, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I want to introduce to you to a fantastic new innovation. It is called the ventilator, and fantastic idea about this ventilator idea, this fantastic innovation is that it's like a band. You put it on your head while you are sleeping, and while you are sleeping, it's going to introduce new innovation and ideas in your sleeping mind. So in the morning, you have multiple new ideas about any problem you are trying to solve. And that allows you to do a fantastic job and come up with new ideas and be successful. It is a really good innovation. Market is yearning for it. Market is demanding this, but it is perhaps not as good as Doompa Boompa. Now, Doompa Boompa, somebody else has to take it up and explain what Doompa Boompa does. Hamad, you want to go for what's Doompa Boompa, why it's such a great idea, and then finish with your own innovative word at the end. Go for it.
Doompa Doompa is an excellent idea, and it's an excellent idea, and I'd like to match this with a thingamajig that I recently saw. I think the next word should be thingamajig. Sorry.
Come up with something that it does and why it's such a good idea, and why should anybody be interested in this thing.
Doompa Doompa. Nothing's coming on top of my head at the moment. Sorry.
What do you have?
Let's go to the next one, Mubashir. Let's go to the next one.
I do have a daughter. Yes.
Let's run with it. Do you have kids?
I do have a daughter. Yes.
Fantastic. What would she like to play with? Could it be a toy for her?
It could be a toy for her. Yes.
Okay. Explain what is this toy that you have just thought about. What does it do?
It's a nice fluffy bear-like toy that she likes to cuddle, and when she's sleeping with it, and it makes noises and mimics a noise. It records a noise and plays back that noise in a different high pitch or low pitch Doompa Doompa sound. So it's a Doompa Doompa toy.
Excellent. And what would be your, what other innovation, what's the other thing that's really great that you would like to look, find in the market? Your gibberish word.
My gibberish word would be Chikipu. There's another toy.
Chikipu.
Chikipu.
No,
Yes.
You can't describe what it is. It's the next person's job. So in the line, like after them, I can see Imran Khan. So Imran Khan, can you hear us? Can you speak?
Yes.
Explain what is Chitipu? What does it do? Why it's such a great invention?
Sorry, I didn't hear about this.
But you make it up. Make up something why Chitipu is such a great idea, and you could run with any idea. What does it sound like? What do you think would it do?
I think it makes me excitement. It creates excitement. It's amazing, and I think I feel comfortable with it. I feel like when I'm distressed, or I'm depressed, it can I can play with it. I can I can make myself busy in when I am alone, or you can say.
Okay, cool. That's good use. And it is a great invention, but it's not as good as, give us another word.
Blank totally.
Think of anything. And if you have your own language, if you speak other than English, you can think of some word in that. Doesn't matter. Come up with a gibberish word. We are all able to create a lot of gibberish. Trust me.
Dhol.
What?
Blankly.
Dhol.
Blankly can be a word. Blank, totally make it blankly.
Could be, but let's hear from Imran. Imran, what's your word?
Dhol.
Dhol. Okay. Jordan, this new word invention that Imran wants to see in the market, dhol. Explain that. What does it do? Why it's brilliant?
Droll is a umbrella that mists you in the summer, so you get shade and mist while using the droll, but it doesn't compare to the shaded sprinkler system called mist umbrella.
Miss Umbrella.
Mist umbrella.
Good one,
Okay.
Jordan.
So,
Thank you.
so Miss Umbrella, Ghazanfar, what do you think? What's Miss Umbrella? What does it do? Why it's such a good idea?
Miss Umbrella is like a music instruments, and it is to play some kind of music.
And why it's so cool?
It has some cool sound.
Cool sound. Okay.
Yeah,
What does it
and
do differently? Maybe what's the key characteristic? Is it something that's creating, I don't know, 4D sound, or it's creating sound inside your brain? What does it do? Come up with something that's different.
it makes you happy in a hard time.
Okay.
If you
Happy.
feel some stress,
Mhm.
then if you listen this, then it will make you happy.
Okay, cool. And what is your gibberish word? What's the next innovation that's really cool that's coming in the marketplace?
It is Jeffy Toll.
Jeffy Toll. So Niaz, tell us a little bit about Jeffy Toll.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. So what's Jeffy Toll? Why it's so brilliant?
Jeffy Toll is an amazing sand that you can throw at the beaches, and it'll absorb CO2 from the air and
Wow.
expedite the process of geological sequestration, which happens over centuries, into a very expedited process of a few years, through which all of the or big portion of the CO2 that is out in the air is absorbed and sequestered deep into the oceans, and it'll solve the world's biggest issues these days,
Brilliant. And
the climate
what
change.
is fantastic? And what's the gibberish word you would like? What's the new innovation you are thinking should be there? Like the word, give us just the name of that invention. And
Yeah.
Oman
So
is going
I
to
think this is great, but the invention that I have, Kwanzaa, it is even greater.
Kwanzaa. Noman, what do you think about Kwanzaa?
Kwanzaa is a great invention. It reads the book automatically and feeds into your brain, and people can become so knowledgeable with this new invention. But this new invention is not as good as Quantanza.
Oh, Quantanza. Let me tell you about Quantanza. Do we have anybody else on the call, or that's everybody done, right?
Yeah, you're the
Okay.
last one.
So Quantanza is this magical communication device in which husbands and wives can talk, and it resolves their disputes, and therefore it makes it up, and everybody's happy, good, happy families, no more fighting. If you have an issue, like, you know, what to cook or where to sit in the car or where to go out for the evening, talk to Quantanza and it will help you. Ta-da! Okay. Let me have a very quick review. And I mean, wow, some really innovative things here. Like you had Doompa Boompa bear-like toy for kids. What a great innovation that is. And excitement.
Seher, there is Seher,
anti-depressant toy
Mubashir.
for-
There is
Seher
Seher.
has joined. Okay, Seher. Seher, tell us about Quantanza. You tell us about Quantanza. What does Quantanza do in your opinion? Can you hear us, Sahar? I don't know if you are able to talk because we can't hear you.
Okay, we'll
Okay.
get her in the next activity.
Yes, we will bring her in the next activity. So basically, we had we had Chitipu, which is an exciting antidepressant toy. We had Drool, the umbrella for summer, and Miss Umbrella, which is a music instrument playing device, which makes you really happy in the hard times. And God knows we are in a bit of hard time right now. We can use some of it. I think there's a global market for it. And then we had Jeffitol, which is a magical new sand for the beaches. It is so advanced, it can absorb the CO2 and benefit the ecology and sequester the thing. And then we had Kwanzaa, which reads books. So you can become knowledgeable and it feeds it to your brain. I mean, how cool is that? You all can upskill our skills, isn't it? And then Quantanza, which is a fantastic device. Therefore, there would be no more fighting between husbands and wives, and it resolves their issues. And I think we can combine Quantanza with the Drool for a fantastic summer umbrella, which somebody is enjoying on the beach, thanks to the Jeffitol, which has taken away all the carbon dioxide from the beach, and using the Miss Umbrella and Chitipu antidepressant toys and the music system. So I think these can actually be bought by just my family, and we would be so happy, right? Ta-da! Okay, so just before we go forward, any comments from participants about this exercise? And we will have a brief conversation at the end about reflections as well. Anybody wants to offer any comments?
From my side, I think it really stretched my brain, and I had to come up with some ideas which I was not even thinking. So it pushes me on maybe to become more creative, just this activity.
The exercise.
Go ahead.
Okay, the exercise caught me off guard. In the beginning, I was basically like frozen, but after it passed on from me and I kept on hearing ideas, my mind started working and generating new words and trying to come up with new ideas and stuff like that. So it was just the initial hiccup, and after that, I think the exercise flowed properly as well after the first two, when people got the idea on how to go with this.
No, I echo what you said. This is Niaz here. The person that went first, I think he had the biggest burden of coming up with creativity. We had more time. I had to think through that, okay, how can I come up with this, some unique buzzword?
Yes, and quite often this is how innovation and creativity works. It feeds on from one another. So somebody might say something that doesn't end up being the ultimate idea, but it can generate sort of tangential or spark-offs. It can spark off ideas in other people's minds, and that's why these kind of activities and brainstorming, they work better when there are many people and they are pitching in. And that's also why it's quite a well-known and research-backed, evidence-backed phenomena that more diverse teams tend to be more creative, because everybody is coming in from their own experience. I'm assuming you know a little bit about carbon dioxide absorption and inventions around it, than compared to somebody else who might know a little bit more about, I don't know, music players and IT, or maybe mechanical elements. And that's the combination of different people in one place, sparking off ideas and bouncing ideas from each other. Okay, let's move forward, Numan. Yeah, I just created a few words in case anybody was stuck a little bit, but I think you all did very, very well. So give yourselves a pat on the back. we wouldn't need any help in this case. Let's move forward. Yeah.
No, good. Maybe Mubashir was telling me about this show about Phineas and Ferb, and they talk a lot of gibberish words. So okay, what is creativity to you? Let's maybe, if we can define it, let's maybe take some notes here. What is creativity? Let's write about this.
Yeah, this is where participants can give their ideas. Guys, free fall, shout out. Creativity, what do you think?
The art of creating something new. That's yeah. What I think my best creativity comes when I read something or I watch something before, and then I dream about a totally separate thing that's not related to it, but it has some anchors to it. It's got a reference to it, and then it goes on a tangent of its own. So that's what I think creativity is.
Okay. Anybody else?
Creativity is just like how you express your idea.
Okay. Expressing new ideas. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody else?
Or we can say that it is your imagination.
Okay. Imagination, that's a good one. Yes. Come on, guys.
Ability to come up with new innovative things or ideas.
Okay. Jordan, Imran, Sahar, anything from your guys, yourselves?
I think it's forward thinking, thinking beyond what we already know.
Thinking beyond what we already know. Okay.
Good one.
Any other last comments? One more from anybody.
I want to say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Based on our previous activity that we just did to create a new idea, a new word. So on that basis, it means that creativity is when you have some pressure to generate a word. So it is the creativity.
Okay.
We will talk about this.
Pressure. Yeah. Thinking under the pressure. Good. I think Imran has put a chat comment there, identifying problems, needs, and come up with real solutions for it. Yeah. So that would be resolving problems part is there as well. Yes. Imran has mentioned it in the chat window, Noman. Resolving problems.
Yeah.
Coming up solutions. Okay. Excellent. That was fantastic contribution from everyone. And Ghazanfar said creativity happens when there is constraint. Okay, so basically, things that you are mentioning are all correct. And those are the kind of things that you keep on hearing about and put in practice. And some of you have touched on some of these aspects. So solving the problems, thinking in a different or new way. There is a background noise coming in. If
Macarons. She's going to have to bake for 2 hours.
Hello?
Total, it's just one more. Like,
okay, so she's not going?
She is. We're just expecting her. She needs to get to work right now.
Numan, you have control. If you mute others, please, so there isn't a background noise getting recorded.
She's been working on this for more than a week.
Okay.
I don't know where is.
Okay, I'm on a call which will end at 11. But can I can drop off. It's not. It's nice to have a call on innovation.
I need her.
Niaz, I think your mic is.
Just mute yourself, Niaz. Just mute.
Hello. Okay. So. Yes, so all about solving problems, thinking in a different or new way, pursuit of something novel and new, and moving things forward and solving problems. But why do we need creativity? The reason is because you might think your plan, from A to B is very straightforward, but the reality is quite often different. There are hurdles, there are challenges, there are issues that we have to solve and move forward. And that's why for each of these aspects, we need to come up with a way of reaching our target and come up with some solution to get there. Okay. Noman, you have any comments on that?
No, that is true, that the reality is far different when we plan. And when I started my own company, I had a vision that where I'm going and how much time it's going to take me to get somewhere. But that totally changed. So the reality is, like, almost everything looks so perfect when you're planning, but when you get in there, it's so much different. It's a lot of issues. So and for this reason, I think creativity is a great skill to have, so that you can adapt to the situation as well.
Excellent.
So
Yeah.
Mubashir, we have about 15 minutes left, and we have a number of activities and exercises. We need to select which ones we want to do. If it's your call.
I think I will go with the next one, and then we'll see how participants feel and how we take it forward. The candle on the
So you
wall.
want to skip this one?
No, I want to do this one.
You want to do this? Okay.
It's a very
All right.
short one. Okay,
Go ahead.
everyone. So the next exercise is the candle experiment. It was actually done in 1960s by psychologists, etc. So what we are going to do is you are going to have about 60 seconds to come up with a solution for this problem. Okay. Candle on the wall is a situation where you have a few items on the desk. As you can see, there's a candle, there are thumbtacks, and there are matches. The objective is to attach the candle to the wall such that when it is lit, the wax does not fall on the table or floor. Again, objective is to attach the candle to the wall, light it up, wax shouldn't fall off. Your time starts now. So draw it on your piece of paper, or if you want to do it imaginary. And after the end of this 60 seconds period, we are going to have a quick review of how this problem was solved. Everyone, just grab a piece of paper, go for it. Okay, 30 seconds. Remember, the condition is that the wax should not fall on the table or on the floor when you have lit it. 10 seconds. Okay, time is up. And I did set up an alarm here, so I'm not cheating. Okay, guys, how did you go about it? How was it? Did anybody create any solutions? Anybody want to speak up very quickly?
I can start. Niaz here.
Uh-huh.
I looked at it and I thought it's just connection. It's not saying that the candle has to be directly connected. It could be indirectly connected to the wall. So I moved the box to the wall, against the wall. It touches the wall, but it also is sitting flat on the table. And then I put the candle in the box. And so when the candle is lit, the wax will fall in the box. It's not going to touch the wall and it's not going to touch the table, but it is still attached to the wall through the box.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Actually, in the interest of time, Naman, if you go to the next slide, please. Basically, the key thing here is getting the thumbtacks empty box repurposed, as in using the thumbtacks box. It's quite obvious when you see it. but you'd be surprised that many times people are struggling with it. They kind of, some people get it very quickly and others don't get it that quickly. And the reason for that is our mental rigidity. Here are a few other options, like you could do it this way, of course, or there are many other ways as well. People come up with different tries as well. The key thing, however, is this: as we grow older, we become more and more fixated or fixed in our thinking. I think there was a question asked earlier that why are innovators, why do they tend to be younger? If you think about a 4 or 5 year old child, 6-year-old child, strains on their thinking freely. Actually, I'm reminded of a very interesting story from Sir Ken Robinson, and I would encourage everybody to see his YouTube video, which is a very, very popular video about education and creativity. And he speaks about it in that video, that a teacher in a primary school for very young children gave the task to children to draw something. And she then went to the back of the room where Amy, a 5-year-old child, was drawing. And she said, "Amy, what are you drawing?" And Amy said, "I'm drawing God." And the teacher was a bit surprised and taken aback. Knows how God looks like. Amy said, "They will in a minute. They will know how God looks like because I'm drawing." For children, there is no inhibition. They can think freely about anything. But as we grow older, we start to think in more fixed ways. And there are 4 or 5 ways in which there is fixed purpose. The example that we just did, the box is there only to store thumbtacks. Actually, if the problem requires it, you can empty the box and then put the candle in it and burn it, or in many different ways. You can cut the strips off the box or use the match box or whatever. You have structural fixedness, where things have definite and defined structures. There was a thinking, mobiles must have physical keyboard for input. Think of what that thinking did in the competition in the marketplace between BlackBerry versus iPhone. And now you don't even need a screen. I mean, hello and welcome, Alexa and Siri, the voice user interface. There is process fixedness, one specific way of doing things. And what does that mean? You must go to the airline ticket agent, buy the ticket from there, then go to the check-in counter, get your boarding pass and get your stuff checked in, and then you'll get a seat allocation. Then after you have checked in, you can go on the flight. None of this actually works anymore. People have then fully rewritten or reoriented the whole business process, reengineering and workflow. You just buy the ticket online, you have the seat allocated, you have the check-in done online, you have your luggage also checked online. And the thing that I thought I would probably not see, just recently my son's passport was renewed fully online. Passport as an identity document was done fully online, including the signature and whatever else was required, everything. Then you have combination fixedness, as in combining things in specific order, shape, orientation, or quantities. Think about food recipes. This thing would only go with that thing, like, the fashion and the clothing element. And people have strong opinions about these. And I remember I was saying this to Numan the other day, who, by the way, is a food aficionado and really good cook as well. So I have heard. Many years ago, a friend of mine told me that, have you ever tried roasting a chicken with Mars bar? Like, dripping the Mars bar on a roasted chicken. It's really delicious. And I was like, wow, a chocolate on a roasted chicken. I had not thought of that at all, but why not? Maybe one should try it. So main thing is that we get enslaved and trapped in our own fixedness. We become more rigid. Oh, this is the only way this can be done. No, this cannot be done in any other way, my way or highway. This is the only way to do these things. Is a sure shot recipe for disaster. You have to be flexible. You have to have mental agility, cognitive agility. Disregard the complex words. Basically, be fluid. Think like a 4 or 5 year old child. Think like Amy. You could draw anything. Why not? Noman, next slide, please.
No, I think it's a great thought here, and I just want to maybe add a few more things. Like a lot of times, some of these factors, and since we don't have enough time to go deeper in this, but a lot of these things kill creativity. Like the first thing, what we do to our children is we constantly tell them no. They come up with an idea, we say no. Okay. So, and there's a lot of research out there where talks about this effect of this no to our kids. And by the time they become like 16-year-old, there is a lot of like how many times they got they're told no. So a lot of these things, I think in the next programs we'll go deeper in some of these ideas. Cynicism, not letting the seedling to grow, compare innovative ideas to existing solutions. Early stage ideas are raw and uncertain, not polished. Punishing mistakes is a great one, which happens a lot in companies, because when somebody make an experiment, you punish them. Okay, so then this whole creativity is stopped. So one way to enhance creativity is to, okay, not to punish mistake, but to reward mistake and to learn from them. You know, Nelson Mandela said, I either win or I learn. You know, so there's, whenever you lose, you make a mistake, you learn. So these are the things that are important. And I was just reading about this James Bond series about Ian Fleming, in which how he come up with this idea of this James Bond, and now we know that is becoming like one of the most popular program, one of the most popular film franchise. But when he started, it was a new idea, nobody accepted it, and but he somehow persisted, and this became a reality.
Same for J.K. Rowling for Harry Potter series as well. Many rejections before she became successful.
Right. So this last point, I want to maybe connect with the people here. What do you think? I want to maybe open the discussion to everyone. What do you think the role of constraint play in innovation or creativity?
So there are Niaz here again. I think from to the innovator, it pushes them to work even harder, to work against the odd, and it creates even more creativity to work against the odds. To the people who are part of those constraints, I think they're just a barrier. I don't have words to define how they need to overcome their own insecurities and not provide those or not be a barrier.
Good point, Niaz. Other people?
There is actually very interesting research in this area that if you don't have any constraints, and they did some experiments, really interesting experiments from the HEC University in Paris. If you don't have any constraints, there weren't that many creative solutions coming up from, especially from experts of a particular exercise they were doing. The idea was that some constraints are beneficial, actually even necessary to have breakthrough and transformative or really groundbreaking ideas. So the role of constraints, we keep on hearing that, oh, well, I don't have resources, I don't have money, I don't have support, or the time, or some other technical thing that if I had this or that, then I would have done this and that. That's actually not true, because if you have all of those things, you would probably find that too much choice actually hinders the creative process. If you and you can think about it this way, that if you were to write poetry, free flow poetry, you would enjoy, but when there are some constraints like sonnets or haiku, where there are tight constraints on how you are going to write it, then the end result is enjoyed more by people, because you get a higher appreciation of you say, wow, I mean, with all these limitations and parameters, still something beautiful has come out of it. So role of constraint is, I would say, constraints can be taken as a positive influence on creative process. Of course, very excessive, very hard constraints can restrict creativity, but some constraints are actually better for creative process.
Other ideas?
Um, from in my opinion, that constraints that how you will initiate your idea. So initiate in terms of that how you will process it, and then how you will organize it. There are two constants. Uh, if you initiate it and you organize it, then you can innovate it.
Good point. Have to
Right.
get started. If you are doing analysis, then that's known as analysis paralysis. The image that you saw in the previous slide was a very interesting Apollo 13 incident, where astronauts were going to die in their space vehicle, spacecraft, the space shuttle, unless these guys on the ground could fix the problem of carbon dioxide over poisoning or oversupply, and they had to literally fix a round peg into a square hole kind of a situation. If you haven't seen Apollo 13, I will highly recommend it. But this is where, if you are thinking about how to do something creatively, you can't send a Amazon Prime delivery millions of miles away from home, from planet Earth, overnight to somebody who is about to die if they don't get a solution. This is severe constraint, and then you have to come around it. And later on in the program, we would be talking about it in more detail, because we keep on hearing about think outside the box, but actually breakthrough innovation usually happens when you think inside the box. So there's a kind of a section on thinking outside the box, and then we will be talking about and learning some techniques about how to think inside the box for breakthrough innovation.
Right. So, Mubashir, we're going to skip. We have another exercise that, because of time limitations, we're not going to be able to do. We have a few more minutes in the program. Actually, we are like almost out of the time, but I would like to do a round table just to hear from everybody about their ideas about this program and what was the learning from them.
And how easy was it, and how difficult was it as well?
Imran, you want to maybe start?
Yes. Well, in the start, I had a session yesterday, a few days ago, but that was very boring to me. But this session was really exciting. It created my excitement because we were doing it and everybody was involving it. Like Mubashir Saab was saying that uh, gibberish word, give your gibberish words, and this part of the session was really like it takes my excitement into it. Like suddenly I start enjoying it, and suddenly I was thinking when you guys will start uh, next exercise of this session. So thank you so much.
No, thank you, Imran. Hamad, from your side, comments?
It was really enjoyable, and I enjoyed this because I remember your last series, the first uh, um, training session. You asked a question that there is a car that's good. You've got a car and you've got a cycle, and which one will get to the destination first? So it was similar to that, and I enjoyed that session as very well because it was an interactive one and it made you think. It was enjoyable in that sense as well.
Good, good, good. No, thank you. Ghazanfer, comments from your side.
Yes, comments from my side that session is really good, and uh, it shows that we can generate some new words. If we can invent some new words, then it means that we have the ability to invent some new things. We can generate some ideas. It's good.
No, thank you for your feedback. Thank you. Jordan, your comments, please.
Yeah, I think it was helpful and challenging in a good way. I think it's good to have kind of people to bounce ideas off of and push you to be creative. So I think this is a really good opportunity to kind of tap into that part of our minds again. So yeah, thanks again for running this program.
Rewire your brain. That's the whole
Yes,
idea.
exactly.
You know, how can we maybe think different, because we always thinking in a box. So how can we rewire? Niaz,
I really enjoyed the session and benefited from the exercise and pushing myself into creative thinking.
no, thank you. I know the time was kind of tight. We wish that we would have more time, but we will do some similar activities in the next program as well. So just come to the next program and we'll do some more activities as well. Seher, go ahead, please. Cannot hear Seher, maybe a mic problem. There is another one, Humaira. Comments from your side.
I joined a little bit late, but I think the concept is really strong, thinking outside the box, and the constraints, the concept of constraints as well. Because when you're thinking about starting something new, you have so many options, and then picking from those options and going forward with your idea is the main thing. So I like that idea.
Okay, no, very good. Mubashir, close, please. Final comments.
Well, first of all, any interactive session, any boot camp, anywhere where participants are going to interact, you cannot fully determine how the exercise would go. If people have enjoyed it, it's because you guys have made it enjoyable by participating, by contributing, by opening up. And it's not easy. It takes guts, and it's difficult, to become vulnerable, to be put on spot. And I did that intentionally. Like, early on in the exercise, okay, bang, 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 here is what it is, here are the rules, and you don't have time to think or react. And that's where your primitive brain comes into play, and we start thinking, okay, how do we get ourselves out of this situation? Quick. And that's where what we learned from, the fantastic innovations. And I had the list there, the drool, the chitipu, the Miss Umbrella, all of these. That's where we learn that our brains are so amazing, that each one of us is able to do creative thinking and innovation. And I think one of the key thing is that we have the capability of surprising ourselves with what we can create.
Right. No, I agree. Okay. All right. So we close the program here. Thank you everyone for joining. For some reason today we were not able to do a Facebook Live, so we'll put it on the YouTube channel, and then we'll add it to the Facebook, so that you want to take a look or you want to listen to that or share with somebody, you can still do that. The next one, we will be doing the next program on October 17th, and it's called Enhancing Creativity. And this is where we're going to talk about how do you enhance creativity. So until then, good luck and best wishes, and we'll see you all on October 17th. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.